So the first one is Linus. I saw this. It's Linus Tech Tips talking about the Snapdragon processor because that is a pretty hot issue. Everybody is talking about how ARM chips are the way of the future, and because Apple's processor is basically an ARM is effectively speaking an ARM processor. So everybody's waiting for Microsoft computers to go the route of ARM-based processors. And I'm really interested to get his take on, because I have not had an experience with an ARM-based system. I have not, I've only used either Intel-based or Ryzen-based systems. I've not used ARM-based systems like the Snapdragon. So I'm really curious what his take on this is. So let's check this out.
Good month, eh?
Right? I haven't charged my laptop in days. Couldn't care less.
I didn't charge mine for an entire week. Have not had a single problem.
Me neither. But there has been one thing stressing me out.
I just want to get my work done.
I was worried we might not have enough content to talk about, but now that's solved too.
Sponsor segues.
Ridge, they're doing a massive sweepstakes now until September 13th with prizes like a Hennessy Velociraptor, not the dinosaur, a gold-plated Cybertruck, or $100,000 in cash.
Okay, I know this is not part of what the video is supposed to be, but fucking seriously? A goddamn gold-plated Cybertruck? Are you fucking kidding me? Petra, I would too. The Cybertruck is a fucking joke as is. Why the fuck would you gold-plate it? Oh my dear lord. And yeah, Ace, Apple has gone all in on the ARM processors. It's Microsoft that has not, and what we're going to see is the Microsoft ARM processors. So,
Or $100,000 in cash.
actually, if it's gold-plated, maybe it won't rust as easily as the regular Cybertrucks will, because it is gold-plated. You saw one go into a Godzilla Con? More and more of them are starting to get on the road, but I think most people that are buying them are regretting them these days because they have really sharp corners. They're dangerous to the user. Like the trunk can actually cut your fingers off if they get caught in the trunk lid, and they rust like fucking crazy.
Cash. Enter for free and get 1 entry per dollar spent using the link in the description.
The first sign that this challenge was gonna be a little different than the previous ones was the number of people who wanted to participate. Arc GPU challenge. Anyone want to use Intel Arc for a month? Come on. Snapdragon challenge. Anyone want to use one of these for a month? Oh my god! I know!
Wow. I guess they were really anticipating the Snapdragon challenge. Wait, I'm guessing that was they wanted to? I'm guessing they wanted to try it versus they were trying to escape.
And it's easy to see why people want it in. My entire mindset has changed to the point where I used to see a sliver of battery and I would drop everything that I was doing and dash to the outlet, whereas now I think, interesting. I guess I'll finish up a few things and then maybe I'll plug in at some point, right? On one of my first days, okay, I got a notification that I was at 10% battery and it was in critical mode. I then proceeded to finish up a Teams voice call, including screen sharing on that call. I made some edits to a script. I then wrote a couple of emails, did some notes, checked my battery life, and casual 6%, no problem. However, it's worth noting that in the last month, I've used my laptop the way that I use my laptop, which is to say I've installed basically nothing on it. We don't even use Word in the writing department anymore, so almost everything I
Really? He's using Google Docs as his writing? Interesting. I mean, I have Office 365 primarily because for the storage, for the cloud storage. Maybe I should I don't know. I've been thinking maybe I should go a different route. And instead maybe, go with a different cloud storage service and either go with LibreOffice or just go with the Google Docs thing. I don't know. I don't know.
do is in a browser or a browser-based program. I've used it for video conferencing, Discord, OBS screen cap. Okay, that's not in a browser, but all of those things worked perfectly. Now, I have had some slightly weird stuff happen with
Ready? Not much. We're just getting into a Linus video where he's talking about Snapdragon processor testing in a laptop, which I'm very curious about.
bonjour.
Always.
But it hasn't really bothered me enough to go back to
Wait,
bonjour.
what did he say there?
Now, I have had some slightly weird stuff happen with bonjour.
Always.
But it hasn't really bothered me enough to go back to worrying about my battery life.
Yeah, for me, the experience has been even better than I expected. In
It
a
is
month,
backdrop.
I have charged my laptop a total of 5 times. And if you look at the dates, there is an entire week where I did not plug it in once. Obviously, during that week, I was not using it a ton, typically 2-3 hours a day, something like that. But with every other laptop that I've ever used, Windows, Apple, you just cannot do that.
That's actually a really good point because lots of Windows laptops are rated for 8+ hours of battery life.
Yeah.
That's not the issue. The issue is when I go to use
Okay, I'm gonna point this out because I experienced this in my last job frequently. Is people would look at laptops and they would read the descriptions and they go, oh, this can get 6 hours battery life. Oh, this can get 8 hours of battery life. And there is a huge codicil to that because it very much depends on what you are doing with the fucking thing, how long the battery on a laptop is going to last before you need to recharge it. If all you're doing on a laptop is basically browsing the internet and doing some light video watching, yes, it can potentially last you for 6 to 8 hours. If you're doing even moderate to heavy workload and you're doing a lot, if you're using your screen a lot, i.e. watching a lot of videos or doing like a lot of games, that is going to eat the battery life because the screen of your laptop is the largest consumer of battery power for your laptop. That is what is gobbling up your battery life more than anything else in that laptop. And I've had to explain this so many times. And people have actually tried to argue with me about it. And it's like, no, you are wrong. This is how reality works. So yeah, I can imagine because it's the level of processing needed for it, and you're using the speakers. Yeah, it's like it all depends on your usage case, very much so. And I've had to explain that like hundreds of times, and not everybody believed me. And it's like, okay, I'm only the one that's like working on the computers. I kind of know a little bit about what the fuck I'm talking about. And people would still try to argue with me about it, and it was so annoying. So if this one, we've heard what Linus's workload is, which is modest. His workload sounds modest, which already the Snapdragon is sounding very impressive. But it's generally speaking, I'd say the workload on it is light. I would classify his usage as light. And I'm curious how heavier use will affect the ARM processor.
Is it the next day?
On any other laptop, 20% battery end of the day, you have to plug it in.
Yeah.
On this, it's like, okay, 20%, I'll use it for 4 hours tomorrow, great. The heaviest program I use regularly is SolidWorks, and for occasional use like what I do on the go, performance is usable. For me, it is fine because any large assemblies I need to tackle, I just do on my desktop, and I only run SolidWorks on my laptop to make small adjustments to parts in the shop, but it is emulated and the raw performance is very similar to my old laptop.
Oh.
Which
Wait, it's emulated? It's emulated? What version of Windows are they running on this where it's emulated? Like, this is running regular Windows 11, is it not? Or is it running a different version of Windows that I'm thinking of? I hope they mention it.
has a low-powered 2 P-core CPU that was slow when it was released 2 years ago.
Right.
What I was afraid would be a deal breaker for me was
Well, no, he told me he's saying that the software, that the program he was using was emulated. So it makes me wonder what version of OS. It's a special version of Windows for RICS chips. Oh, okay, I hadn't heard about that because I had no interest in it at that point, but I may have to look into that because just for educational purposes, because I'm interested now.
car audio, but it's actually just totally fine.
No way.
Our calibrated measurement microphones just worked, allowing me to get these measurements right here for our MX5 review, watch it on short circuit, and then came the much bigger challenge, doing a new tune on my car.
No way.
This involved niche DSP drivers, a bunch of random Windows runtimes, and Direct Live's licensing server all to cooperate, which is not even a guarantee on regular x86 Windows machines, but it just did it. And now I have a 2C tune in my car. It sounds absolutely fantastic.
So unfortunately, my work can't be really done on a pen and paper.
What are you saying about what I do is also work?
Well, my work is, more video editing, and I can't really video edit on a pen and paper. And as a recent graduate, I decided to take a perspective of a university student because I feel like university students are the people who really buy these laptops. And so I just thought, it'd be a cool way to determine if this is actually good for, people who go to school. Yeah, exactly,
Right?
yeah.
Because you're not going to have another computer.
Exactly, yeah. The first and simplest thing I tried to do was watch YouTube videos. But instead, I got audio renderer issues saying I need to reset my computer.
Fortunately, I had this great LTT laptop bag, lttstore.com. Man, this thing is freaking awesome. It's got all the room, opens up so big. Oh yeah, baby, stores everything. Sorry, what were you saying?
Well, fortunately,
I gotta say, I like Linus's when Linus reviews stuff. It is painful when he brings his videos to a screeching halt to shill his merchandise. It is, well, I mean, Pactor, that's kind of a staple with Linus's videos on his main LTT. It's painful when he just brings the video to a screeching halt to shill his products. It is. It's the one big thing that I don't like about his videos. It's just a completely like this guy was in the middle of talking, and Linus basically stopped the entire video so he could talk about the laptop bag he's selling. It's like, God's sake, I understand you may want to plug your products, but for God's sake, do it when you have when you've finished a scene basically and you're getting ready to go on to the next scene. Then plug your product. Don't do it right in the middle because it feels cheap when you do that, honestly. And hello, Yard Dog.
fortunately, The computer was one step ahead of me there because for the first couple of days, I had a load of crashes that restarted the computer for me. Next, I want to edit some Flowplane exclusives, which I thought would be fine because Qualcomm did say that they're going to support Adobe Creator Suites, which turns out it was only Photoshop and graphic design stuff. No Premiere.
Great.
They hate me.
No, I thought Premiere works.
When I first got it, my first thing was to try installing it, and it wasn't there. So I was like, what's up with that? It just works. Fortunately, after a week of daily driving it, it was there.
Use emulation mode to run Premiere Pro and Media Encoder. You can run it in emulation mode on Copilot Plus PCs. That's not great. I'm sorry, but this is not great. If you're, ARM processors are supposed to be really, supposed to be pretty good. And if you're forced to run this in an emulation mode, regardless of any GPU that you might have, if your processor isn't ARM, that's not good. That doesn't speak well for the Snapdragon's capability as a working machine. So, granted, I mean, this is a heavy-duty program, but the company line is that ARM processors were going to be replacing standard Intel and AMD chips. Like ARM processors were the way of the future. This ain't the way of the future, my friend. If you have to run, bigger programs in an emulator, which is going to drag ass a lot of the times.
But there was a catch. After Effects, still missing. So I couldn't do any of the fun graphics. Premiere was emulated and
Gross.
it just sucked, honestly. Using Premiere on this thing was not a good experience.
There is one more thing to say. It's in the script. He's doing his best, but only the 2023 version is supported. Like, 2024 is 3/4 over, and they're only supporting 2023?
I had to convert most of my projects to the 2023 versions just so I can start editing. I tried editing 3 videos. The first one was fine until I started adding screen caps to it, which then it pooped itself. The second one was a YouTube short at 1080p, which was mostly fine, but I ended up switching to a real computer for animations at the end. And the third one was a 4K multicam sequence, and
Oh, yeah.
it died. I think it loaded it in, and then it just didn't work. There's not a chance.
Honestly, I think the most telling part of all of that is the way that you referred to a normal x86 computer as a real computer. So in a month, you didn't manage to completely edit a single video on it, even
Kaibo, and that's my feeling too. Like the ARM enthusiasts or the ones taking up arms for ARM like to say it's a replacement for it, but it's not. It's not a replacement for a standard CPU. A standard multi-core CPU. It's simply not. And Druid, yes, you are correct. 14 and 13th gen Intels, because both of those were the ones that, both 13 and 14th gen Intels are the ones that were having massive problems lately, where they're basically suiciding themselves because of a microcoding error in the motherboards. Because of a microcoding error, the CPUs were like they were overclocking the shit out of themselves and damaging themselves and killing themselves. And, the motherboard manufacturers rolled out BIOS patches, but if your CPU was already damaged, you are fucked. Now, I do think I heard something about they were offering replacement CPUs. But, well, sadistic. I think that they were offering replacements for the CPUs, but I think you still had to pay for them. I think. I can't quite remember for sure. And yeah, I mean, Tybo, that's exactly why I'm, when the computer I'm looking at replacing my current one with, hopefully in September, fingers and toes crossed, I'm going AMD. I'm 100% going AMD. I'm not going Intel because I do not trust Intel right now. And who knows? come next month, maybe AMD is going to do something where I will not trust into AMD. But right now, AMD is a far better bet than Intel. Whew.
Even though Premiere is supported.
Yeah, like the worst part is Parsec didn't work that.
Hitomi literally replacing the chip. You literally open your computer, remove the chip, and replace it with a new chip. You replace the physical component. That's what I'm talking about. You literally have to replace the physical component. Taibo, I am too. I'm wondering if we're going to hear about a class action that's in the works. I have not heard about one happening, and who knows, it may not happen. It would not surprise me, though, to hear about a class action soon. It would not surprise me at all.
Supported.
Yeah, like the worst part is Parsec didn't work that great either, so I didn't really get to remote into my desktop and edit it. So I was like, I determined that the speed I was going to go at parsecing in versus editing on my computer wasn't going to justify it, so I ended up just moving back to my computer.
Yeah, I didn't try to use Parsec.
Okay,
and that's
tell
the
me.
thing, right? Is when an application doesn't work, you're basically stuck. If this is your only computer, there's no backup plan. The emulation all runs automatically, so it's not like you can install an emulator and maybe it'll work now. It just doesn't work. I actually had my first near showstopper just yesterday. Talk about a buzzer beater. I was using Channelizer for the how much Wi-Fi is too much video, and I started getting random crashes. At first I thought, okay, it's probably a license issue since I haven't checked in with MetaGeek for 2 years. And then I realized, oh, hold on a second. It's always crashing after a little while.
Hi, Phoebe.
When I go inside the chamber. Maybe it needs an always-on connection, but obviously I wouldn't have any Wi-Fi in an RF isolation chamber. Then it turned out that the emulation was bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was
Who would've thought?
Nothing to do with the license. And I had another bizarre issue yesterday too. I got a notification that I was running out of battery, which was fine. I hadn't charged it in like 6 days or something like that. But when the speaker went off, I didn't think about this until you mentioned your audio rendering issues, but it started like buzzing at me really weird, which makes me wonder if maybe it's something to do with the platform. You guys haven't actually seen this yet, but I'm going to show you. This is super weird.
Okay. Oh.
Oh,
What?
what the?
It's like a spaceship.
It just didn't stop.
What the fuck?
Overall, I've been happy with the machine though, especially the keyboard. And like I said to you, I never use my laptop outside, so the screen, total non-issue. But I noticed right at the end that HP cheaped out on the Wi-Fi. I only got Wi-Fi 6E instead of Wi-Fi 7.
Well, my Surface Laptop 7
Eh?
does have Wi-Fi 7, but I would much rather have your 6E chip in there if that meant my experience was good. In areas
Really?
where my Wi-Fi strength wasn't great, like you just know that spot in your house, it just would.
Stonekiller? If you're talking about for the rate your setup, it's in the Discord. It's the channel of rate my setup submissions. It's under the stream section of the server. It's called Rate My Setup Submissions. That's where you can do you can submit your photos for that.
Wouldn't work sometimes. I would
Yeah,
load a
just post them
YouTube
there.
video and then halfway through it would just disconnect from Wi-Fi, and it was super annoying. Both of you guys had good Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah. Mine was perfect actually. It was really good.
Yeah, I used that thing for a week making the review. I also didn't have an issue, so
That was great.
I think it's Microsoft and their antenna design.
Wait, I wonder
Oh,
if HP knows
boy.
something I don't know.
Once again, Microsoft building what they're claiming is a pretty premium product and fucking up the end game. Phew.
And used the 6E for a reason? Which one's yours?
Wi-Fi 7.
Must just be the antenna design then.
Yeah.
Could also just be a bunk unit, but another area that's been pretty good for me is gaming. Now, in our
Really?
live stream, half of the games we tested didn't work, but Real world use is a little bit different than just having you guys send games to us and us running whatever you ask. Like, for me, from the time that I spent with the Steam Deck, my mentality shifted a little bit from, I want game, I want to play this game and nothing else is acceptable, to, I'm in the mood to game, I'm willing to find something that works with the device that's in front of me.
No, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. For if you're going to game, saying I'm willing to work with the device that's in front of me for gaming. For Linus, perhaps, maybe Linus is not a big gamer. Most people that game, that mentality is not going to work. Most people that game are like, I want my machine to play games. And I don't want to have to make my game selection based upon my hardware. If I have an actual game, if I purchase a computer specifically to play games, you shouldn't have to suddenly settle on your games because of your hardware. Now, granted, if you're a gamer, chances are you're not buying one of these anyway. You're buying a gaming PC with a GPU. Yeah, that's that. So I mean, an ARM computer is kind of stupid for gaming anyway because you're not going to get a GPU in there, and most gamers are going to get a GPU. But I don't like forcing yourself into the mentality of I have to accommodate my hardware for the game that I want to play. I don't like that mentality. The bottom line is the ARM processor computers, it should just be, the ARM processor computers can do some games, but don't get one if you're intending to game. Think of being able to game somewhat on them as a bonus, but do not get one if you're, do not get one with the intention of gaming. And it's entirely possible he may say that. I've kind of cut him off here. He may very well say that at the conclusion of what he's about to talk about here, but that's my... Well, Stonekiller, that's what they're... Like, a lot of the software that they were having to use, like, big-time software, had to be done through emulators. Like, they were talking about using Adobe, Adobe, I think he said it was Premiere, Adobe Premiere Pro. They could run it on one of these in an emulator, which means it sucked ass. Well, Sadistic, I don't know if they're trying to go green. They're trying to... I think they're trying to take the technology that was in mobile devices and port them over to computers so you can get a modest experience and great battery life. That, I think, is the big draw for the Snapdragon computers, is they have really good battery life because the processor is like a battery sipper versus a battery gulper from a regular laptop.
So, obviously, it's not the best, but I actually kind of found that I was okay with it.
Yeah, if you treat it like a second computer, I think it's okay. But I tried playing a lot of the games
there you go.
Popular with the youth, like me.
Okay.
27. Like League of Legends, Valorant, Fortnite, and Minecraft. The first three didn't work. Like, it would not boot. I could download it.
Yep.
But, and Minecraft was just too laggy, so.
Okay, that is very telling. If Minecraft if even Minecraft would not function well on an ARM computer, Minecraft can run on a fucking potato. So if ARM cannot handle even Minecraft, that is damning. That is a damning statement to say that it can't even run Minecraft. Because if that's the case, you don't even try to game on it. Like, for God's sake. Well, it's like not even League Dog. Like League, I can see why it couldn't because of the graphical. League is very graphically intensive. Like, it's while CPU-wise it may not ask much, it is very graphically intensive, which is pulling from the onboard GPU, and it couldn't do that. Minecraft is not even that bad graphically, and the ARM can't handle that. It's like, well, okay, fuck it, then don't get this thinking you're gonna play any games on it other than a game you can play in the browser.
Getting one of these laptops for school means you probably aren't playing games with your friends. Don't do that, parents.
I'm kind of split on this one. The 3 games that I play the most just straight up do not work on this laptop, but also they straight up do not work on the last laptop that I used either.
Right, because
so
you used to thin and light with old onboard graphics anyway, so...
I'm pretty flexible. Like, I'm going on...
For God's sake, one of the games he just said was Elden Ring. You're not playing, like, people need to stop. Computer reviewers need to stop trying to say, oh, you can't play these insanely graphic demanding games on your modest, thin and light or mid-priced computer. You're not going to. Those are games that are designed to work with discrete GPUs. That is what those games are built for. They are built for computers that run discrete GPUs, not onboard. So, stop it. Yard Dog, considering it couldn't handle Minecraft, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. It probably can't do OG Doom. I probably can't.
On a long flight tomorrow. I installed Animal Well on this. It works great. I do not care if I don't get to do 3D games on this. And at the same time, 120 hertz display. This thing is awesome to game on. I just want to highlight how good this screen is. Sammy's screen as well.
Your mouse pointer freaked me out. I thought I had messed up pixels on my cell again. My heart. Cheer 100.
Stone Killer's pixels are all messed up. Look, they're going crazy.
Fantastic. 3x2 Quad HD, 120 hertz, bright enough to use outdoors. And the most incredible thing is that this display did not even stand out in our last video. Typically, the 2 biggest power draws on a laptop are the CPU and the display. And previously, I was willing to live with a mediocre display because the OLED screen option was just not worth it for battery life. Yeah. But when the CPU is this efficient, you can just give up 4 hours of battery life and it will be totally fine. It really is the closest thing that we have to the MacBook experience. And while game compatibility sucks compared to normal Windows, it's still a lot better than Mac.
Ouch. Shots fired there at Mac. Although, I mean, you know the expression PS3 has no games. That could also be applied to MacBook, as in MacBook has no games. Because it doesn't. MacBook has no games.
Dang! Sick burn.
One final thing about the Surface is that the webcam is
and
fantastic.
Rex, thank you for the follow.
In the very first video call that I had on it, I got compliments of just how great it looks.
Yeah, I also got compliments on it. Mic was good and webcam was good.
Now, here's something I'd like to compliment you guys on. You've lasted
Well, Rex, I'm glad you've enjoyed the YouTube videos. I hope you like the live version just as much.
a long time here at Linus Media Group, being on Microsoft and Samsung's payroll, respectively. You guys,
what?
Okay, no, you know what? They are right. They're right. The webcam is actually a standout feature. However, I want to change the topic a little bit. This is 2024. We got to talk about AI.
We love AI.
Does it make me a boomer that I completely forgot about the Copilot button, except for the one time I pressed it by accident?
Really? I'm actually a big fan of Copilot and just like ChatGPT, like LLMs in general. And I like how accessible it was to, you know, just one click button. I can just look.
I do believe so. Shadow Sparta. No, you know what? You know what? I'm guessing, Shadow Sparta, I'm guessing some of the gifted subs, may have run out. Some of the gifted subs, may have, expired, and the new gift, and every time you gift a sub, it's going to someone. So it's I that may be it. It's with Twitch subs, it's hard. Like if you give the sub and everybody in the chat has one, it's going to like another follower that's not currently in the stream, I think. But I mean, those are only 1 month, so I'm guessing that some of them may have expired. The month may have, the 30 days may have expired, and so some people don't have subs, I guess. I don't know.
Look it up. It's way more convenient than opening my browser, typing in Chat GPT.
You kids know about bookmarks, right? Do you know about doing up more than half of the buttons on your shirt?
It's a style. It's a style.
He knows style.
I know style.
And my footwear is cringe. My footwear is cringe.
Yo.
Okay, well, you guys vote. Vote in the comments. Leave a like for mine and leave a comment for Sammy's.
Subscribe to Flow Plane if you just want runners.
And I do use
God.
ChatGPT sometimes just to help with polishing my wordings and just general research because Google sucks. We have a whole video about that.
I used Copilot a couple of times when I accidentally tried to lock my laptop.
Nice.
Went like that.
I just want to mention, before people think I completely hate this laptop, I think the physical appearance of the laptop was great. Like you said, the keyboard's great, the webcam's great, the mic's great. It's
Okay, that's
extremely
like a
light.
fraction
I
of
love
what
the
makes a
Samsung
good laptop
with
a good
my personal
laptop.
heavy laptop, and it was so light and thin, I didn't notice a weight difference in my backpack, nor did I feel like I had any space issues. The fan also, I don't know if you guys have any comments about it, but mine was so quiet.
I totally forgot to comment about it because I didn't notice it once.
It's just that like quiet, and I feel like if you're in like
Yeah, I mean, your options between Google and Microsoft these days, you basically have to pick which do you consider the lesser of two evils at this point. Google is not at all shy about the fact that they're harvesting your data. Microsoft tries to hide it a little bit. So it's Google or Microsoft. You just gotta pick your poison on that one, literally. That's the nature of the world. And unless you want to go full Linux, which I would not be able to stream as a VTuber on Linux, unfortunately, I have no choice but to go with Microsoft because I can't even do it on a Mac. I have to use Microsoft if I want to be able to stream as a VTuber. I have no choice.
a lecture, I feel like you always hear one or two people that have like whoosh the whole time, right? Like they're Alienware.
And that's especially true if they're trying to actually like record anything.
Yeah.
Like especially with video, like man, I don't know what it is. Every Windows laptop I've ever owned, all I gotta do is get on a Teams call. It sounds like it's trying to take off from the desk. I mean, I don't blame it. Those calls are boring. Anyway, what are we feeling overall, guys? I've had a great time with mine, only running into a major issue at day 29 out of 30.
Oh, and by the way, I'm just going to point out what he was just saying, like he gets on Teams call and sounds like his laptop's about to take off. My work laptop that I have is a Lenovo. It's a Lenovo Ryzen. I still have yet, since I've started work, I still have yet to hear the fan on my work laptop. It's a Lenovo ThinkPad, which is their, that is the business grade laptops for Lenovo, and I have yet to hear the fan on it. And I like Lenovo. I think Lenovo makes, people give, some people like to give Lenovo shit. I've been perfectly happy with Lenovo for the last 7 years. I have had out of all the computers I've owned, I've had Dell, I've had Acer, and I've had Lenovo. Lenovo has been the best brand of computer that I have owned. I still have my Lenovo IdeaPad that is 8 or 9 years old. I think it's running like a 7th or 8th gen i7. Still works great. It still works great. So personally, I think Lenovo is great. I think they are a great computer brand. I've heard MSI is good. I can't really make a judgment call because I've never owned an MSI, so I don't know.
That's pretty darn good.
I love it. I don't think I'm going back to x86.
No way.
I'm not sure that I will.
For now, I don't feel like this can be your primary computer. Maybe not even your own laptop. But personally, I would highly recommend this as a secondary computer.
Or tertiary by that point, since you've got a desktop and a laptop already, and this is just your mobility-focused computer. But that's fair enough, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, one thing to remember is that AMD just released a lineup of CPUs that is much more competitive battery life-wise.
Yeah. Strix Point Ryzen AI 300. I have not heard about that. We may need to check that video out another day.
But they aren't competitive price-wise. These come in at a lower cost than AMD and presumably Intel's upcoming latest gen mobile CPUs, meaning that you can't really compare them directly. Like,
okay,
maybe
Cryptic,
by
have a
going
good
Qualcomm,
night.
You give up some program compatibility, but you get more RAM or you get a better screen, which
Yard dog. Do not get me started about the HP printers. I fucking hate HP printers. I hate HP as a company these days. HP is openly scummy when it comes to their business model and how they treat customers. When I was, in my last job, way back, they have changed. Like, in my old job, when people wanted to buy a printer, I would actually tell them, do not get HP. I would actually warn them away from HP because of the way HP is operating. The fact that HP is trying to say, if you buy one of their printers, you have to sign up for you have to register the printer. You are required to register your printer with HP or you cannot use it. You can only use their ink, and if you try to put in non-HP ink, your printer simply won't work. Yeah, I will either direct them to Epson, Brother, or Ken. Yeah, it's like I had an HP printer several years ago. I had one of their, I had like the OfficeJet Pro. I forget which one, and it was fine. And I actually was signed up for their instant ink service. And it was working fine. Like, the instant ink service was fun. I was only paying something like $7 a month. And it was sufficient for what I was printing. But one day, I went to go print something, and the communication for the printer shit the bed. And so I did what I've had to do in the past whenever this has happened because I could not get it to reconnect. I couldn't get it to talk to my computer. So I did what I've had to do in the past, and that is reset the printer. Factory reset the printer. And yes, that worked fine. It reconnected with the computer. However, now it was saying, okay, you have HP Instant Ink in there. Please sign up for HP Instant Ink. And I went into the system, and basically, the only thing that I could do to get this to work was to unenroll from HP Instant Ink, wait 30 days, then re-enroll in HP Instant Ink again, and until then, I could not use my fucking computer. At which point I said, I'm done with HP, and I went out and bought a Kim. And from that day forward, I've told people, do not buy an HP. I had someone buy like a small little print copy scan laser printer. They just wanted it to make copies. I said, yeah, sure. Okay, and suggest that one to them. They came back like a week later and brought it back and told me they managed to print out, I forget how many, they managed to copy, I forget how many pages it was, maybe a dozen, maybe 30 pages, before it stopped and said, you cannot use this printer anymore until you register it with HP. And I went, holy shit. And I've used that example ever since of why you should not buy an HP. And I continue to this day. Do not buy HP. They are a scummy company that tries to scam you out of your data. Because that's what they're doing. They're trying to harvest your data and sell it to advertisers. So stay the fuck away from HP. Their computers are okay, but stay the fuck away from the printers. Never buy an HP printer. They are scum. And Sir Erix, thank you for the follow.
Could make things even more compelling.
If you can actually work on it though.
Well, yeah, that is a major issue, and I think we're in agreement then. Qualcomm Snapdragon X laptops. Excellent.
Welcome
if
back, Moros.
Everything you do is in a browser, or if you already have another computer for the work that you need to do on another computer. Hopefully someday it'll be for everyone, like this Segway.
Yeah, I've dealt with a lot of problems with both HP laptops and Acer laptops. HP laptops, a big one is their compatibility with certain internal hardware. Like it would, like I remember the HP had a major problem of their Ryzen processors not communicating properly with, I think it's the Qualcomm and Wi-Fi, I think. And it took a while for HP to roll out a patch for it. Like, HP computers have never been great, honestly.
Manscaped! You know the sphere in Las Vegas? Now your head can look like that too. Okay, maybe not with all the images and RGB, but with Manscaped's new Dome Shaver Pro and Dome Soother Aftershave Lotion, your noggin can be smoother than that analogy. The Dome Shaver Pro has 5 premium rotary blades, is powered by a 9,500 RPM motor for consistent and efficient shaving.
Yeah,
Plus,
Yard
its
Dog?
magnetic head makes cleaning
I
and
agree.
replacing the blades easy. Speaking of easy, the USB-C charging port means it's compatible with a cable you probably already have laying around, or one you might take with you when traveling, which is perfect since the Dome Shaver Pro is also compact and portable. Now, if you go to actually see the sphere, you can make sure your head is freshly hair-free and take that comparison selfie of your dreams. And don't forget to apply some of the Dome Soother lotion after. It's dermatologist tested and formulated specifically for use on your scalp, hydrating it and leaving a fresh, foresty scent. So check them out and get 20% off and free international shipping at manscaped.com/LTT20.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe you'll enjoy the last time we did one of these challenges, the Radeon GPU challenge. Everyone says, oh yeah, AMD is a great value, but so few people actually buy them. Are they so bad? Yeah, I'm still daily driving mine. I haven't oh, spoiler.
Holy moly.
Very interesting. It was a good video. That was a good video. But honestly, it feels like the Snapdragon Windows machines feels like it's maybe just a little step up from a Chromebook, from what they're describing. It honestly feels like this honestly feels like just a little bit of a step up from a Chromebook. And instead of it being all online only, you have some offline capability, but not enough to really make much of a difference.